Hey, BookTube Sean here, and today I want to do a kind of might be read TBR for Nonfiction November. For those who don't know, and I can't imagine anybody not knowing at this point because the TBRs have been all over the place, and Olive is a pretty popular booktuber, and rightly so. But Nonfiction November is a month-long readathon hosted by Olive at a Book Olive, and I believe her name is Gemma. I should have looked that up. I apologize. But at Nonfic Books, and I will link both of their announcement videos below. So it's just a month-long readathon to promote reading nonfiction books. And nonfiction books are something I always intend to read and never get around to. And I failed miserably at Nonfiction November last year. In order to successfully complete Nonfiction November, you just got to read at least one nonfiction book. I failed last year at reading even one nonfiction book. So I want to try it again this year. I actually kind of already have one in progress that I started on audio, and I won't get back to it till end of November. So hopefully I will at least finish that one. But I apologize in advance because this video is going to be a bit of a mess, I think, because I was starting to get things prepared and organized for it before I left work on my Google Sheet. And then some stuff came up. I had to answer some emails in regards to the show that I'm going to be directing. So I had to figure something out there and answer somebody. So I didn't get as organized as I would have liked. And then my wife was going to be gone tonight, and her rehearsal for this thing she's doing Halloween night didn't end up as long as she thought it was going to, so she actually ended up beating me home. So I'm trying to get recorded real quick so that I can go and just grab some dinner and spend the evening with her, because she's just got into something that's going to be rehearsing Monday through Friday nights, and I'm not going to see her much throughout the month of November. So I want to be able to spend the evening with her too. So anyway, let's get into it. There are challenges. They're not challenges, prompts that she has come up with for this. I'm not really following the prompts for this. Oh, that was a big clap of thunder. Obviously, it's storming here. If you heard that big clap of thunder, but this is the time I have to do this. So anyway, there are prompts that you can use to try and inspire your reading, and there are things that you can interpret any way you want to. They are kind of fun. I actually deleted them off my sheet, so I can't really say what they. I know one is pastime or past time. I've been watching a ton of Nonfiction November TBR, so I might even be able to remember these. So pastime or past time, meaning a time in the could be a time in the past or a past time that you enjoy. I know that there's wander or wonder, and no, I'm stuck. I can't remember what the other two are. But like I said, I'm going to have both Olive's and Nonfic Books announcement videos in the description. So anyway, so what I've kind of got highlighted on my sheet what I know I want to get to, and then I'm going to list other ones that I'm thinking about that are possibilities for the month. And I have a lot on this sheet. I'm not going to list all of them. So like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a mess because I didn't get this organized the way I wanted it before I recorded. So what I know I want to get to or want to try and get to, I'm already listening to the audiobook of Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doty. And that is a memoir about her time that she spent working for a crematory, and what it taught her about death and the way we as humans react to death and our relationship with death. So far, it's really interesting. I'm really, really enjoying it. And the audiobook narrator is really good too, so that's helping. But yeah, that one I will end up finishing in November. I read the intro to So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson last night, and I really got interested in it. So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson. I am going to try and get through. It's one I've been interested in for a while. It's about the shaming culture on the internet. So that is one I would like to get to. I'm pretty sure I can make this work. This is Dolly by Bauduin, and it is a graphic novel memoir or graphic novel biography of Salvador Dali, who is one of my favorite artists. So I think Nonfiction November is a great month to get to that, because the show that I am going to be directing it's the 39 Steps, which was an Alfred Hitchcock movie in the 30s. But the play is kind of a comedic take on that 39. It's this script of the movie with some comedic elements thrown in. I kind of like to think of it as like Monty Python meets Alfred Hitchcock. There is one actor who plays the same role throughout the show, and then one woman who plays three different women, and then you have two actors called Clown 1 and Clown 2, and they play everybody else. So it adds a nice comedic element to it. So when I read it, I very much thought of Monty Python, and kind of Monty Python meets Alfred Hitchcock. But I have had this book. It's part of my Classic Movie Stars biography collection that I've wanted to read for a long time. I will not get through the entire thing in the month of November, but I want to start reading it. And even if it takes me as long as till the show goes up, I think it's a great time for me to read this. And it is Alfred Hitchcock, A Life in Darkness and Light. So it's by Patrick McGilligan, and it's a biography of Alfred Hitchcock. So those are the ones I have highlighted on here. Another one that I think I might try to get to, or is definitely an option, is We'll Always Have Casablanca, The Life, Legend, and Afterlife of Hollywood's Most Beloved Movie by Noah Eisenberg. And this is about the making of Casablanca, which is my absolute favorite movie. I also have another one about the making of Casablanca called Round Up the Usual Suspects too, but I think I want to go with this one. And let's look at my list here. There are ones that I have on my Kindle that I've just had on my Kindle for a while, and I would like to maybe get to. I've got The Stranger in the Woods, The Extraordinary Story of the Last True Hermit by Michael Finkel. I've heard good things about that. Another John Ronson, The Psychopath Test, A Journey Through the Madness Industry. Some of these I'm not even sure exactly what they're about anymore, but I know I was interested in them. The Last Madam, Life in the New Orleans Underworld by Chris Wiltz. I think this is about a madam in New Orleans in the 20s, I think. I'm not 100% on that. True Crime, The Midnight Assassin, The Hunt for America's First Serial Killer by Skip Hollandsworth is one I've been wanting to get to for a long time. H is for Hawk by Helen McDonald is one. Let's see. I've heard about a couple through these videos. This one I knew of before. Moonwalking with Einstein, The Art and Science of Remembering Everything, Joshua Foer. Olive even recommends that on her TBR video. But that's one I've been wanting to read for quite a while. Some of these some of these I will have access to on audio through Scribed. So I might be trying to always have an nonfiction audiobook on the go throughout the month of November. So if I'm not reading a lot of nonfiction, then at least I'm listening to it. And hopefully by now you've seen, because it should be going up before this, because I'm actually going to try and upload it from my phone tonight, that I'm going to be trying to do 50 pages a day throughout the month of November. And I'll link my little short video about that in the description and maybe in the cards. But Becky at Beck's Books has on her TBR "In the Heart of the Sea: The Tragedy of the Whale Ship Essex," and also one called "The Stowaway: A Young Man's Extraordinary Adventure to Antarctica" by this one's by Lori Gwynn Shapiro, and "In the Heart of the Sea" is by Nathaniel Philbrick. Both of those sounded really cool, so I'm interested in those now. "Last Call: The Rise and Fall of Prohibition" by Daniel Okrent. Prohibition is a subject that I'm really interested in, especially that period of the 20s and how Prohibition brought forth the mob culture and people like Al Capone and made a name for themselves during Prohibition. It's just really interesting to me, anyway. Time. So that's one I've had on my Kindle for a long time, and I've never gotten to it, and I might try to at least read some of it. Like I said, these are just options. I'm not going to get to all of these. I forget whose channel it was now, so I apologize for that. But I heard about this book called "From the Forest." It's actually her copy of it was "Gossip from the Forest," but I think it's been retitled since then. So now it's called "From the Forest: A Search for the Hidden Roots of Our Fairy Tales" by Sarah Maitland. And that sounded really interesting about looking at why most of our fairy tales are rooted in like the forest and stuff. That sounded really good. This is one I definitely want. I forgot I didn't get it highlighted. "Quiet: The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking" by Susan Cain. This is one I've been wanting to read for a long time. I'm very interested in this book. When I started looking into what it was to be an introvert and what that meant, I really started understanding myself a whole lot better. I did this presentation at work for something about introverts in an extroverted workplace. And what it's like, or understanding introverts in an extroverted workplace. I forget exactly what I called it, but it was more about it was about what introverts are like and why we need to kind of respect that and know that we try to force this extrovert culture on people in the workplace, and probably at least half of the people or more in any workplace are introverts and are very uncomfortable with that full-on extrovert fire it up culture. So I've been really interested to read her book. I saw her TED Talk while I was working on that. So I've been really wanting to read the book for a while. Another one that I got reminded of was "The Lonely City: Adventures in the Art of Being Alone" by Olivia Lang. And I'm going to be putting images up here, hopefully. And another one that's on my Kindle, this will be the last one I talk about, is "The Reason I Jump: The Inner Voice of a 13-Year-Old Boy with Autism" by Naoki Higashida, and it's translated by David Mitchell. David Mitchell, the author of Cloud Atlas and the Bone Clocks, not David Mitchell, the British comedian. But that one has always sounded really interesting to me because Naoki Higashida is the boy with autism that has written the book, and he talks about what are the thoughts that are going on in his head, and it's just a look inside inside and inside the mind of a 13-year-old with autism, just like the title says. And I know that there's a follow-up book that he wrote too, that David Mitchell also translated. So I've been wanting to read that for a while. It looks fairly short. It looks like it might be a pretty quick read, so I might try to get to that this month. Anyway, that is it. That is my rambling mess of a Nonfiction November MBR. So thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stick around. If you'd like to, hit the subscribe button so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.